Everyone. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's learning session organized by the Mongolia Evaluation Association. Өдөртний өдрийн мэнд хүргэе. Та бүхэнд Монголын үнэлгээний холбооноос одоо сар болгон улирал болгон зохион байгуулагддаг удирдал үнэлгээний одоо learning session маань эхэлж байгаа таатай байна. Одоо энэхүү нөгөө нэг learning session маань ер нь гаднаас бас илтгэгч маань бас гадных учраас гадаадаас орж байгаа учраас ерөнхийдөө бол илтгэлийг танилцуулгыг англиар танилцуулаад явуулчих гэж бодож байна. Okay, thank you very much. So today's learning session, we are now will discuss the National Evaluation Capacities Index, INCE, with the Juan Carlos Santos, who's from the DEVAL, Development Institute, German Institute for Development Evaluation. So starting from this month, first month of 2025, Mongolia Evaluation Association is aiming to organize the monthly learning sessions within the topic, in the learning area of the national evaluation capacities or the participatory evaluation methodologies, the approaches in the evaluation index nexus. So today's the speaker is Juan Carlos Sanz, who joined the DEVAL in May 2014, specializes in participatory approaches, stakeholder networking, and supporting national evaluation units in EDC projects. Previously, he coordinated international cooperation projects across Latin America and Africa, collaborating closely with the Spanish Agency for International Cooperatives Evaluation Unit. So since this is the first the learning session, we are starting to introduce continuously the National Evaluation Capacity Index and methodologies through the year. And now I'm very happy to start this learning session with this very esteemed speaker. So, okay, Juan, it's over to you. You can now share your screen and start.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Sorry for that. Just quick the logistics information sharing with the participants. So after we will our speaker will share the knowledge through the PowerPoint, and after the follow of the question Q&A session. So if there anyone asking the questions regarding the theme topic, just directly open the mic and ask the questions, or leave the message, the questions in the message box, you know, or in any questions or comments in Mongolian, I will try to translate it to the speaker and come back. Okay.
Sure. So now.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, first, the Mongolian Evaluation Association for organizing this learning session, and also for inviting me. It's an honor, and I'm very happy to be with you, even virtually, but to be somehow in Mongolian. Thank you so much, and all the participants. I know it's pretty late over there. I'm in Germany. It's not so late, but I will try to be as dynamic as possible with my presentation, and especially I will try to make it short, so you have time to share your insights and thoughts. I work in DEVAL. I don't know if you know so much about DEVAL, but I will try to explain what DEVAL does and what is our institute doing, and why are we supporting this kind of initiatives and projects to work in other countries. So first, DEVAL, as you said before, is the German Institute for Development Evaluation. So our job, our business, And that's what we have in common with you. Our business is evaluation. So we do evaluations of the German cooperation. But besides evaluations, one main function of DEVAL is to develop methods, evaluation methods, and to be applied in our evaluation. And also, and that's why we are here, DEVAL also support partner countries of the German cooperation to improve its national evaluation systems. And in this third pillar of DEVAL work is where I work, and that's why I'm going to present you a tool that can be applied in your country. I will share my screen now to talk about this tool. Let me check it. So now I guess you can see the name of the tool.
Yes, yes, you can see.
Okay. So the name of the tool is INCE, is the National Evaluation Capacities INCE. Index. What I'm going to do in the next few minutes, I don't think I will need more than 25 minutes, 30 minutes to share with you some ideas. And what I want to talk about is, first, I want to share with you, of course, what is this tool, what is the INCE? I guess you have heard already about it, but I want to detail the main components of the INCE and how does it work. Then I thought it would be very nice to use this opportunity of talking with you. You are the network, so the monitoring, the evaluation association of Mongolia, and you know a lot about working together, about networks. And the INCE, so this tool is mostly a collaborative tool. So I would like to reflect with you about this element of the INCE, this characteristics of the INCE as a participatory tool. And finally, I will share with you about the specific role of the BOPI, of the Mongolian Evaluation Association, when the INCE would be applied in your country. So how can you participate and how can you benefit from the INCE? So let me first to share with you in a few words what is the INCE, and therefore I start with this representation of the INCE. So we like to think on the INCE as a tree, and that's the metaphor or the image that we choose with our partners to think and to represent the INCE, not only the instrument, but also the results of the INCE. Why a tree? Why the INCE looks like a tree? Can you try to answer that? What do you think the visualization of how looks like a national evaluation system should be or could be a tree? You want to try?
Hello, maybe, can you hear me?
Yes.
By my understanding, tree is the always growing up, and yeah, if look more, tree gives a lot of benefits to ecological environment or the world. Therefore, your association or your institution of evaluation and trying to grow up with collaboration of other countries and trying to share these benefits with all the members. Sorry, I hope.
Thank you so much. That's first, it's very nice thoughts. And actually it is one of the reasons because we choose a tree, because every country, when you think about your own national system, what you want is a big tree to grow up, to provide many functions to the society, evidence for the decision-making, professionalization of evaluation. So just like trees, evaluation can provide a lot of public goods. Thank you so much. More ideas, more thoughts.
Maybe tree exemplifies also this is living organization. Like if you water it well and give good sunlight, it can grow. If you don't care it, it can wither away. So it's a kind of ecosystem, which in a good ecosystem, it can grow.
Wow, I'm very impressed. Thank you, Chinga. Actually, this is also one of the reasons, and maybe the main reason, why we choose a tree. And you said the central word, ecosystem. All of us, especially you that are working in the network, like to think evaluation not only as something that we are doing as evaluators to write a report. We like to think in a systemic way. So our evaluation report has no sense if it's not used and used by the people who has to make decisions for a better policy. So many evaluation is not only about evaluators. It's not only about making reports. Evaluation is an ecosystem. This is a second way to represent evaluation in this systemic way, in this systemic approach. And this is the first thing I want to share with you about the INCE. The INCE is an assessment tool that represent. We like to say that through the INCE, what we make is a picture of the evaluation system as a whole. So we try to capture in our assessments all the information about all the stakeholders that are part of the system, functions, how do they do their job, what can they do better, how do they work together. So the INCE is a tool to describe this system, not only a small part of them, but the system as a whole. And that's what you can see in this second visualization. There is not only about evaluators. Of course, evaluators are in the middle in the center of the business, but evaluation needs to be applied, and therefore you need a demand of evaluations. That is what the government usually do. They demand evaluation to get evidence to make better policies. But also you have civil society who can ask for the governments for better policies, for more transparency, for better solutions to their problems. You need also the academic. You need also good training programs to have good evaluators in your country. And there is also, of course, a role of the international organizations that even when they are not part of the evaluation system, they are conducting projects in your country, and they have demand of evaluators. Of course, they are expecting to hire good evaluators with very good qualified. So as you say, there are many actors and many relationships. That's what the tree tries to represent, so the whole evaluation system. Back to the tree, what we have done with the INCE, so the INCE started to be developed in 2017, so 8 years ago, and it took us almost 3 years to describe the main components of an INCE. 3 years is a very long time. It's pretty long time. But why do we take such a long time? Because so first, the INCE was supported by 2 main organizations. One of them is DEVA, the other one is the Workshop Program. But what we have always the very clear idea that it's not us as external organizations, the one who should describe how should an evaluation system looks like. That's why we contact up to 11 countries of Latin America and BOPIS, networks, academics, and we conducted a huge process to discuss in several workshops, conferences, etc., to discuss about how should a functional evaluation system looks like. So we get first a model. Before developing the tool, we need a model. So we need a reference. How it looks like a good tree. Yeah. And of course, for every country, they have different situations, different backgrounds. The tree could look like in a different way. But what we try in this process, 3 years process, is to get a common model. So a tree that represents and a standardized good national evaluation system. And what we did is not only to make the visualization, to paint this tree, but also to describe the tree. Therefore, we work in different levels to aggregate and to organize the information about how does the national evaluation system work. The first level of getting this information detail is these 5 dimensions that you can see in the slide. So the people, so the agreement, the people working on this model, they agree that it's very important for a good national evaluation system to have a structure. So institutions, laws, rules, guides, standard guidelines that define what the evaluation is and how should it work in the country. Budget for evaluation. So this structure that evaluation needs in a country. This is what they call institutional structure. This is the first of the 5 main components of a national evaluation system as a model for the INCE. Behind this structure is also the demand for evaluation. So how many evaluations are conducting the governments in every country, etc. But you also need an offer for evaluation, not only the demand, but also you need good evaluators who can conduct these evaluations. And that is what they organize around this second dimension, evaluation offers. And in this second dimension is where you are, so mainly you are, so as evaluators, yeah? And you are the one who can provide and guarantee good evaluation according to evaluation standards, etc., etc. They thought as well is not only to have a demand of evaluation and a structure, an offer of evaluators, it's also important to get good evaluation. So evaluation that are useful, evaluation that are according ethical consideration, evaluation that provide standard and quality standards evidence to make decisions. And most of these people who were working with us to get these agreements around how should a national evaluation system looks like are from Latin America. And I don't know how much do you know about Latin America, but over there it's very important participation. So in Latin American countries, it's not possible to imagine any instrument, anything related to public policy without participation of all stakeholders. So they decide, and for these people, they consider that a good evaluation, a national evaluation system should have open spaces to participate the different stakeholders, not only in evaluations, but also in the definition of the evaluation policy. So this is the 4th dimension, the yellow one on the right. It's very important for these people, for this model, to have spaces where the BOPs like you, but any other actors, civil society, international cooperation, can meet with the governments to discuss about evaluation. And you are going to see how relevant is this dimension, this concept of participation for the INCE itself. I will share with you in a few minutes. And finally, of course, I guess you already know that there's no sense in making the best evaluation of the world if it's not going to be used. Use is the final purpose of every evaluation. Evaluation is an instrument. So these people said, we can only imagine a good national evaluation system if evaluation are being used. So this, as you can see, this is the 5 first elements which people use to define a good national evaluation system. But this is not enough because the INCE needs to get information. So these people, so the work of the development of the INCE model continue to get into the detail of this, we can say 5 main branches of the tree. Yeah, and this is how, if you look closer to the tree, you can see how these main components again split off more detailed information, and I have even this visual of the whole structure of the INCE. So I have shown you how does the tree looks like from your level, yeah. But if you get an upper perspective, you would see the 5 main dimension in the center of the circle. But if you go further, you get another circle with subdimensions, and then you get variables, and then you got after 72 indicators that are, we call it the structure of indicators, to collect all the information related to the national evaluation system capacities and to be summarized, aggregate in the INCE. So this is the first thing that the INCE provide. So if you think about what can we provide data related to the whole system, but at the end, if you get to the detail of these indicators in the big circle, you get detailed information of every component. For example, you get information about how good is the qualification of the young evaluators in the country, or how good are the terms of reference that the government institutions are providing, or how good are the capacities of the national evaluation unit. So this is the kind of detailed information that you are getting through the INCE. But don't forget it, you also get an overall perspective. So you can get in different levels of information through this assessment tool. And this is the model that these countries develop, and this is the model that we have behind the INCE. So every time that we apply, that we conduct a measure of the INCE in one country, you mostly get the data, very detailed and organized data to give you an insight about how the national evaluation system looks like and how are its capacities. Yeah. This is the first time I think that I'm sharing with you a screenshot of the website. All the things that I'm sharing with you in my presentation are available in the website. I will share with you the website at the end of my presentation, but you can also download this data, the data that you are seeing in the screens in every country in which we have measured till now, and all the general information. But the first thing I want to highlight, the first thing that the INCE provides is detailed data on how does the national evaluation system looks like. And this is the most attractive for many of us. We are evaluators, we work with data, and the governments as well likes to see data. So this is the most, or the primary output of the INCE when you make an assessment. And many countries in Latin America, so we have now several countries that are applying the INCE, and they are using this data, for instance, to make baselines for national evaluation policies, or to discuss on specific topics with other agents of the other stakeholders based on the results of the INCE. So they are very useful, as you can imagine, for us, for DEVAL and other international organizations who are working on evaluation capacity development. This is a very powerful information, a very important information to plan our programs and our future activities to support the national evaluation system. But we provide data. It's just an assessment tool. Yeah, that is to be very clear with that. And as you can see in this slide, so the data was the first output that we wanted to provide, but over the time we realized that we were providing through the INCE another powerful benefit. And you know a lot about this because I'm talking about networks. Networks at the national level, but also at the regional level. The INCE, so we discovered that with the INCE and with these measurements that we were conducted in the country, the INCE had an amazing capacity to generate an incentivate network. I'm not talking only about national evaluation networks, but network in general. So national networks of stakeholders that somehow are involved in the national evaluation system. Why? And this is the second part of my presentation. Why is participation, this networking, so important for the INCE? And I guess since you are the Mongolian Evaluation Association, you know a lot about working in network. First, because once we have the model, when we have this tree that we want to look for in our countries to develop our an evaluation system, what we start to develop is, okay, now how can we get the information to collect to fit these indicators? And that's for so our first idea, our first thought, it was to develop an INCE so simple that you can look for all the information in Google, but with the time we discovered that it's not possible. And I will share with you an example. A simple question, a very important. How much money are the country investing in evaluation? It's a very simple concept, but we discovered that it's not easy at all to get to this data, because first you get funds from, coming from the governments, but also NGOs are investing in evaluation, international organizations, and for many of these organizations, it's not clear what evaluation is. So it was very difficult to get to standardize information on every single indicator that we develop for the model. But I think, so at the beginning that was okay. We thought it's going to be more easy to get the information for the INCE, but it's not. But I think thanks to this problem, we discovered that there is a more powerful way to get the information. And it's by asking as many stakeholders as possible, not about how much money are you investing in evaluation in your country, but the funds invested for evaluation in your country are enough. So this assessment, we were asking the organization about, is that enough for you from your perspective, from your perception? So we decided to develop a questionnaire based on these assessments made by the main stakeholders of the national evaluation system. And that's why and how we're starting to think about the powerful of participation. So we collect the data from three perspectives to get the whole picture, to get the many different points of view of the national evaluation system, so we get more accuracy in our data. As you can see in the slide, we organize these stakeholders in three groups just to make the calculations of the INCE. The central one is the national evaluation system governing entity. Is the usually in your case is the agency for the government supervision. So it's the institution in the country who has the responsibility to conduct, to coordinate the evaluation in the country. And this is the central one. So how they are leading the national evaluation system development. But also we have the perception, the perspective, the information provided coming from another stakeholders of the country that also part of the system, just like you, the BOPI, or just like another government who are making also evaluation, or another ministries or government institutions, or universities, civil society, think tanks, so many other stakeholders that are part of the system, but they are not the one who are leading the system, just like the first perspective. And we thought it should be great to get a third perspective so we can triangulate the results. And therefore we thought about getting the perception of international organizations that are working in the country. And of course, they conduct also evaluation, and they know, they work with you as evaluators, they can know how does the system looks like and how is it working. So the first strong participatory component of the INCE is from the data collection itself. So we collect the data and gathering the information of all stakeholders and organizing this information in these three perspectives. before aggregating it in the INCE. This is very interesting, not only because you get more accuracy in your data, but also because when we get the results of the INCE, we can use these three perspectives to compare. And this is an example, for instance, from the last measurement that we conducted in Ecuador 2 months ago. And if you can see in the screen, I mean, it's not important the data, but in the left side, you can see the use of evaluation and how in the center you have the results coming from the government, from the evaluation unity, and they are over 5, so 5.36, more or less just like in the other national stakeholders. But if you look at on the left side, the external perspective, so these international organizations, so UN system, DEVAL itself, so our perception is that evaluation is not being used enough. So the INCE invite to these three perspectives to discuss why do they have a different results, a different perception. And this is very powerful because after the measurements, you can make a meeting with all these stakeholders, and taking this data as reference, you can start very strategical discussion about what's working and what's not working in your country, but not as a government or as the entity that is leading the assessments, but as a group, as a national evaluation system. So all the actors are part of the assessment, and they are part of the groups that can discuss the results, to promote, to plan actions to develop the national evaluation system. So that's why participation is a very important element for INCE, not only for data collection, but how the data are used. You can also, of course, with the data we propose to make measurements every 2 years. You can also look or analyze in detail how is the system developing, and you can go again to the detail of the data to look. For instance, in Ecuador, it's amazing how they increase the results for this discussion participatory spaces on the yellow branch, so they can sit together and to identify, okay, what are the keys? Why are we doing so well in this yellow dimension, but the structure, institutional structure, is not developing enough? So this kind of questions and this kind of discussion, the INCE invite to be conducted in the country with all the stakeholders of the system. And this is almost the last slide. This is so 2 more slides, so I will not talk too much. Just to describe how does the INCE work, and especially what is the role of the evaluation association, the BOPI, in the process of the measurement of the INCE, so application of the INCE, but also the use of the INCE in this discussion that I was describing. So we have five phases for the INCE. The first one is to get into the family, or to ask for a measurement. We are WFP, DEVAL, we are always open to new countries to conduct a measurement of the INCE. We are always happy because that means for us to get a bigger network, to get more data about how national evaluation systems are working in other countries, and thus increase the possibilities of learning between the countries. So we are always open to make new measurements. Actually, we are talking now with the AGS to start a measurement in your country. That's why I'm very happy to present it to you. You will be one of the informants. And what is the role of the Evaluation Association in this first step for this, in this entry process? So in the case of Mongolia, the government was interested in applying the INCE, but in many countries they are not informed of the INCE, but maybe one member of the BOPES in conference, whatever, they heard about the INCE, about this tool, and they contact us to get to the country and to apply the measurement. we cannot conduct any measurement in any country without the permission and the leadership of the government. But the BOPI, what usually do, they can make this bridge, this contact with the country, just like you are doing with us in Mongolia. So the AGS is really willing to make the assessment, to make the measurement, but it's very powerful for us that we are always talking with the government with you. So it's very important for us to get into more institutions when we get into a new country. That's why we appreciate that you are accompanying and joining us in all the meetings that we have to plan the INCE measure in Mongolia. The second step, once we are agreed, the government decide when do they want to start the measurement, which institutions are going to be invited as informants, we start the data collection. That's very simple. We have an online survey that we distribute to these institutions, and they are the one who provide the information. As I said before, it's mostly assessment from this perspective. Maybe one important point of this data collection system or the process is that the informants of the INCE are not individuals, are not single persons, but organizations. Why? Because what we try is to invite within every organization by answering the survey, we try to invite them to think about the system as a whole. So just imagine you get the survey, and we are asking you about the capacities of the BOPI. There are questions about the BOPI that you can for sure, you have for sure very good information to provide, but we ask you about any other things. For instance, how far is evaluation being used in the parliament, for instance. So we invite you to reflect on topics related to the evaluation system that in the usually you don't think about. So this is how the INCE works. And actually, because for us is much more representative and efficient to get institutional responses. And so what this means is that in your case, we will send you, for this measurement in Mongolia, we will send you a link to respond this questionnaire to be responded by the whole BOPI. And you can organize a meeting, or you can small meetings to answer this. It's online, so it's pretty easy to make it in groups. So your role as BOPI in this data collection step is you are an informant as any other institution in the country. The third step is the analysis of the information, and this is the only of the 5 steps that we are not doing it in a participatory manner. That for the WFP and DEVAL, we are the one who analyze the information, these answers to the questionnaire, all the data, to make the calculations to get the final answer. Why is only us the one who are doing that? Because we keep always the data provided are confidential. So we keep always the it should be anonymous, your answer. I don't know sorry, I don't know the word, but it's important because you are, so every organization is making an assessment, is sharing thoughts about how the whole system works. And of course, it could be not many comfortable or not many objective to talk about how it's working, for instance, the government, if you know that they are going to see your responses. So it's anonymous, that's why we are the ones, so DEVA, WFP, we are the ones who make the data analysis, and these data are confidential. So you will get the aggregate results. It's not possible to identify which organization has provided which information. That's very important for you to know. And finally, so 4th stage is the use of this evidence. I have talked to you and I have shared with you some examples about how powerful is this information to conduct discussions on how to develop the system with all the stakeholders. And what we have done with the INCE is somehow organize this discussion. So after the measurement, we offer the government the possibility of conducting what we call a INCE results use workshop. So first, we define with the government on which topic they would like to talk about. We prepare together with the government this meeting, and they invite for a national meeting with all the stakeholders that have participated in the measurement to discuss on the results and to propose measurements or projects to develop the national evaluation system. It's very important for you to know that the INCE do not provide support to develop this project that you identified in this workshop. But what we can do is to invite another organization who are working in the country or are interested to support your system, and we can invite this organization to this workshop so they can also say, okay, we are interested in supporting you for this specific area. And now I can talk to you not only as an INCE member, but also as a DEVAL member. As I told you, DEVAL is conducting also projects and initiatives to develop national evaluation system. So in our case, for instance, we are pretty interested as DEVAL to get the results of the INCE in your country, because we would like to work together with you to develop activities to strengthen your national evaluation system. So for us, these workshops are very important. We have the data, we have the leadership of the government, and we have the main stakeholders of the system discussing on an assessment conducted in the country. This is a privilege. And just like us in Latin America, many agencies of the UN system or the Latin American Bank are using this information and this workshop to plan their support to the countries. So this is also a very important step where a network and the network that the INCE strength are very important to work with. And finally, the last steps is the cycle of the INCE. So after the measurement, after the workshop, we wait 2 years to conduct a second measurement. So we invite the countries to conduct a measurement every 2 years, just to see how it's developing the system. So it's like a cycle, so measurement, workshop, measurement, workshop. This is the rhythm that we have in the INCE. Plans for the future of the INCE. So the INCE is strongly implemented in Latin America. As I said, the INCE was created there. Now we have, in the map, you have 10 countries, but Chile is joining us. So we will measure in Chile this year. So now we have 11 countries. So as you see, it's a huge network. They are learning a lot of each other through this data. And we have plans to extend the INCE to other regions. That's why we are so interested in working with you. Near Mongolia, we are now starting a measurement in Sri Lanka. I know that we are talking about very different countries, but we are, so our what we want is to increase the number of countries to implement measurements, because we are sure that the model that we are using is still the Latin American model. We are sure that after a few measurements, we will discover that it should be these indicators, they should be adapted to the reality of Asia or your region, but we have to start with pilot in the INCE. So what we are doing with you right now in Mongolia, what we are planning is a pilot application of the INCE. And the same for Africa. In Africa, we are working very close with AFREA, it's the African Evaluation Association. And in March, we will start a pilot in the INCE in 6 countries. So this year, we are very excited because right now we have, besides the 11 measurements in Latin America, we have 6 measurements in Africa and 2 measurements in Mongolia and Sri Lanka. So the INCE is growing up. We are very, very happy to share the tool, to try to collaborate with you in the application and the use of the tool, and of course, of inviting you to be part of this INCE learning network. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. This is the website of the INCE. As I said, you can get all the information there. We have an English version, all the data are there, and every single thing that I share with you in my presentation, you can download on the website. So thank you so much, and over to you for the questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a very, very interesting and very useful, very informative session, I think. Thank you very much, Juan, for sharing your expertise and experience. And it's really eye-opening because, you know, even Mongolia, we are very long time discussing about the national evaluation system. It's going to be strengthened, professionalized, but we didn't have any systematic. We cannot see the ecosystem, national evaluation system as an ecosystem through the you know, through the diagram that you shown, that the, you know, spider diagram, that's really nice. And even the countries, by the 2 years, we can compare the evaluation system capacities in 2 years. So it's really nice. And now we can have the questions and comments from the participants. Any questions? Or any comments? You share your thoughts.
Chingue raised her hand.
Yeah. Okay, Chingue, go ahead.
All right, thanks very much, Juan, for the very comprehensive presentation on the INCE tool. And I hope that everyone has now this big picture what this means. And it's also good to me that to learn the details of it and the use of it for further development. I was wondering if you could share some examples on how this was uptaken by the government or by the country to really work on their evaluation capacity building. And maybe bringing on examples of possibly how you partnered with the tool MEA, because MEA is also the sister of from the another mother, right? Kind of. So how you complement each other, or like good examples of partnering together and complementing each other for the evaluation capacity building at national level.
Thank you, Chingue. Very good question. I propose to hear more questions and then I will answer.
Okay, Orun Timik, please. Over to you. Doesn't Semino.
Before all, I would like to thank to this very informative and very interesting and moreover very attractive lesson. And I got a lot of new points about this evaluation tool. Moreover, even your presenting way is starting with this tree and how these trees are going to different level and so on, how this tree looks from above. This was really impressive. Thank you very much for this support. So my first question going to your cases or the applications or the implementation of this evaluation. You showed to us quite big example in different countries, but I not see something in European countries. And first question is coming, are you have some cases or the applications in European country, especially in Germany?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
so-
two questions.
Yeah,
It's
thank
just
you.
only two
You have
questions.
more question?
Okay, so I have a lot of questions, but it's
Oh, okay.
it will
Okay,
be depend on the answer, so I don't know. Then I will be wait, no problem.
I can start by answering these first two questions. Very interesting question.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So about examples of how INCE is being used to start collaboration on a specific country, and especially how does the INCE work together with MEA, the monitoring and evaluation assessment tool of the Global Evaluation Initiative. Yeah, after years, we started to apply the INCE in 2020. 5 years ago, we started by 5 countries. Now we have 11. So as you can imagine, we are getting bigger. We have a lot of samples. So I will try to point out cases that could be similar to Mongolia. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know so much about Mongolia, but what I can say first is that INCE is a very light tool. And what I mean light one is that INCE do not require a big investigation. So we can conduct a measurement only with the resources from DEVAL and WFP, because, and that's one of the few good things of the COVID. The INCE was developed during the pandemic, and that's why the INCE is mostly online. All our meetings are online, or the use workshops are online, so we don't need any resources. But we need the commitment of the government and the institutions, and just like we are doing now, we meet once a week, half an hour, 40 minutes, and we organize the measurement. But it's a very light tool. So it requires a lot of participation, but by answering the question, as I said, we are inviting you to reflect within your organization of the system. So it's also somehow a kind of training for you through the answering the results. And this is maybe to get the first difference with the MESA. The MESA is an assessment tool that matches pretty well with the INCE. So if you look at the structure of the MESA report, you can also identify the 5 dimensions of the INCE and almost every single indicator, because we work together with both tools to make the match. The INCE was first, and then the GI developed the MESA, but we were working together with the team of GEI who developed the MESA to be sure that if one country decides to get an assessment, a light assessment on the INCE, just like a picture, this is a quick picture of the INCE, but they want to go deeper on the details through MESA, because the MESA provides more detailed information and they go deeper with the assessment. They can combine both tools. And what many countries are doing, and this is, for instance, the example of Colombia, and this is going to be more or less what Sri Lanka is planning to do, is they start with the INCE, because it's very easy, very cheap, and is you can do it in a short time. You start with INCE, and after identifying the dimension of the INCE that you see more interesting, because I know they are weak or because they are strong, whatever, but you can go ahead with a deeper MESA, but in this specific dimension of the system that the INCE has has made the picture, so they can go further with the MESA. This is working really good. So for instance, in Colombian, they make the INCE measurement, and for Colombian government, it's very important to focus on the use of evaluation, and they conduct it after the INCE and MESA, but in the specific dimension of use, evaluation use. And one more thing about these examples of application of the INCE, I wanted to share with you that the experience with the INCE, as I said, the INCE is being carried out every 2 years. The first year that we conduct the INCE in the countries, we don't used to get a lot of informants, because they don't know the tool, they don't know how to work with the questionnaire. You need a couple of hours to answer the questionnaire, the survey, and it's not as easy. But when you conduct it, and we can live with that. So even if we have 5 institutions providing information, we can calculate the index. So it's only for us, it's only important to get the answer of the national, so the governing entity, so from the AGS, and 2-3 more informants. Only with that we can make the calculation, and that has happened in many countries in the first year, because the INCE is not known. But when we invite, so when the government, the national, the AGS invite all stakeholders to this workshop to discuss on the INCE, many organizations, and when we publish the data on the website in the second measurement, so 2 years after, many institutions say, okay, I want to participate because it was pretty interesting, so I want to be there. And it's amazing to see how the number of informants are increasing. So for instance, in Ecuador, 2 years ago, we received 16 answers, 16 answers, and in this 2 years later, we are getting 84. So just for you to see how the INCE is inviting more and more people to provide information through the survey. Europe, I've been working in this evaluation capacity development project for over 10 years now. And especially in Latin America, as I say, I don't know so much about Asia, but I'm surprised to realize how many things we could learn from your countries. And one of them is not this assessment tool, but is this collaboration to make an assessment of the national evaluation capacities. Right now, 2 governments, so regional governments in Spain, are working in a version of the INCE to be applied in Spain. And I'm pretty confident, so we are in touch with them. We cannot work together with them. We cannot support this initiative because, as I said, DEVAL and WFP, we work on cooperation partner countries, but we are in touch with these institutions. But of course, if European countries apply not the INCE, but some similar instrument that can be compared with the INCE, with your measurements, this network, this learning network, this possibility of comparing the results is going to be much more interesting because we can compare our national evaluation system in Europe with yours in Asia, with Africa, so we can identify learning opportunities. And that's what we want to do right now with Africa, Asia, and Latin America. So now the INCE is working as a learning tool, horizontal learning tool between Latin American countries. But we are pretty sure that if we develop a version of the INCE, so maybe it's not the same tree, the model we have in Latin America, but another tree in Asia and in Africa, in the future, we could use the INCE results to learn between these 3 regions. And of course, if European countries are applying a similar instrument, it's going to be much more powerful because we can learn more from you and you from us. So we have this pattern to compare each other.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, do we have time, moderator, or it's over?
Yeah, we have 1 or 2 minutes. You can ask if you have any questions.
Then okay, I have several. Okay, maybe later we can discuss it by email or so. But I want to ask last question relating to data analysis part. That how are you analyzing or the computing or the calculating your collected data? I now downloaded the example from Peru, look to this Excel sheet a bit, and if I find out usually sum and average, such kind of descriptive statistics I can see. Can you be deliberate shortly on this your data processing part?
Sure. So first, I'm very happy to hear that you have already downloaded the data because I've been working in this field for a long time, and it's not as easy to find an amazing database with the same structure to different countries and different years. So we haven't still started to use this database to make research. But for instance, we have now over 300 data series. That means we have over 300 pictures of national evaluation systems. So we can identify, for instance, now through data analysis, a statistical analysis, we can identify, for instance, in the countries that presents very good results in evaluation use, which are the indicators that are key to promote the use. And maybe we will discover that if you invest in young evaluators, you will get good quality for evaluation at the end. So this is very powerful database. But right now we don't have the capacity, the INCE team, we don't have the capacity to conduct this research. And what we are doing is we are offering trainings on the universities, so in the postgraduate evaluation training programs, we are training on the INCE and inviting the students to work with this data in the final works. So we are inviting the people to use this data. That's why I'm very happy to hear that you are downloading this, and I encourage you to keep on doing that and to share with us the results of your investigation. The calculation of the INCE are somehow very simple to explain, but at the end is quite complicated.
Yeah.
There is in the website, there is a document where you can get all the details, but maybe for you to share very, very shortly, I told you that to make the calculation, we gathered these 3 perspectives, and for every perspective, we gather the information provided for all the informants that belongs to every group, to the national evaluation stakeholders and the external perspective. What we use is, for every calculation, is an average. So we don't not wait one. So we don't say this opinion is more important than the other one. We decided that. So we have made a work, and we have discussed about this possibility of weighting the information, but we decided to calculate it based on averages. But if you are interested in getting the detail about how do you get the final value of every indicator from the answer to the specific question, there is a document on the website. I cannot remember the name in English, but there is a part about the initiative, and at the bottom of the website you have 3-4 key documents, and one of them is to explain how do we make the calculation. Anyway, if you have more specific questions, you can contact me, and I will put you in contact with the team, and we have a specialist who is the one who makes all this systematization.
Yeah, great. Thank
And-
you very much. It was really great. And just I want to short comment that it was really impressive that what you're doing, what you said in your word, that if every country can apply same method that's based on the scientific, so well structured way, we lately can really compare them. Yeah, that this is the sense of this your I think this is the things which I can take away from this presentation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the questions and comments and very rich discussion we had, I think. So thank you very much, Juan, as well, for sharing very, very detailed and very nice the presentation and discussions, and very good elaborations as well through the questions. And so thank you very much. And okay, so I want to just highlight, reflect that this is just the beginning of the discussion on the national evaluation system. So we have way much more fat to go on, follow up, and more the detailed or further the things we can learn and study and discuss through the learning sessions. So thank you very much. And we can now end here our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice evening, and thank you so much, all of you, for participating.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.